We're back.
Guess who's back? Back at doing this online.
Yeah. Well, if we came over each time to record, we would have much less uploads. So, as I would say, it is what it is.
No, yeah, but also I'm due for like a test to see if I got COVID from you again.
You actually spent money for the test?
No, of course I didn't. But I'll tell you the secret. If you need one, go to the airport like at 10 p.m. and just do it.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's genius. Also, sort of. I mean, it's one of those things that maybe should be illegal, but
No, but I was like reading like where do you do a PCR test like in Belgrade, and there's like one place, which is the institute, and I'm like, have you ever been there? Like the thing is like super crowded, can't find a parking spot, and it's just ridiculous. It's just so bad. And I'm like, I've had some friends over from various parts of the world recently, and they were like, well, you can do it in the airport. And then we drove them to the airport at like 1 p.m. and it was like the same, crowded, can't find a parking space. It's the same. But then we went at like 10 p.m. Hi, test, bye. Like, done.
I hate it so much right now. For people who don't know, PCR tests in Serbia cost around $55.
What? No, it's not. It's $90.
90. So they even increased it.
Yes, it was. It hasn't been $60 since like
last final peak.
Yeah.
So we have 2 weeks to straighten the curve, guys. So which is extremely pricey
yes.
In a land where like average monthly salary is like $300.
No, you have to say it like this: in a land far, far away
from
where
normalcy.
where the average monthly compensation of a working man or woman is astounding $320 net.
Yeah. Until I think I said this before, but until I actually started doing my own taxes, I did not really understand the opposition to them, and now I'm like,
hey, did you say
anarchy.
your own taxes? So look what I caught somewhere on the internet. Do you see?
Who's that?
I don't know. It's like some guys, but look at a Roman Catholic criticizes Eastern Orthodoxy.
I mean,
it's Malone. But look at the thumbnail. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's like that 80s.
Yeah, it's like
neon, like neon look.
Yeah, but also kind of 90s vibe, like diss track.
Well,
they're gonna rap about Eastern Orthodoxy not being cool.
Yeah, but I don't think I have actually listened to a single diss track.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily have to be music.
No. Diss prose.
It's just a diss, right?
Okay. Still, never had the chance to actually.
No, fair enough. By the way, I watched your I Moved episode in Bible Illustrated Hands. And
the whole 40 seconds.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the the arrangement behind you, which is like the crowd of and I was like, is he gonna address the Amogus behind him?
No.
And like
The audience will do it.
But yeah, but in the comments, everyone's like Boyan is so sus.
Yeah. You know,
I laughed so hard. Like it was so cool.
actually, when I placed these guys behind me, initially in my old apartment, they were there simply because they were at that window still forever, and it better felt for the light for me to record myself with that angle. So they weren't put there, to be for the sole purpose of the video. However, now they're very intentionally placed, and I'm turning into one of those guys who like put all of their favorite toys behind them while they're recording, and I was like,
I think that's actually cool. I
I think it's cool, but also like maybe I should put an icon, but I don't know. I didn't feel really comfortable with doing it. Like, by the way, I'm an Orthodox YouTuber, so let's just have some random plush toys or whatever they are.
So first of all, kind of offended here that you didn't disclose who gave you the Amogus.
You did.
Yes, I did. And also I'm looking forward to you fulfilling your well, not a promise, but it was like you said you'd try to put the thing above his head.
I have to see how to do it because.
But it's doable. There's
no. Listen, I can easily put like some yellow ring on it, to have a halo. However, it wouldn't match the look because I don't know. Thing is, it won't have that black exterior line, which is what I would try to go for. I'll see what I can do.
Think about it.
No, I will.
You're the artist. Come on. I couldn't do it in 15 lifetimes.
Your wife could do it very easily because she's like the crafter. I'm an illustrator. When I hand painted some Easter eggs, she watched those sad creations and she was like, "Okay, I'm getting your sister to do this." No, when you're the artist, everybody will give you the artsy stuff, even though you're not maybe fit for all art. So painting on 3D objects which are very round is very difficult, in fact.
So, first of all, let me say that I still haven't produced the second episode you and I did when I visited. So you remember we did 2 episodes and we just published 1.
Yeah, but what are you saying? Why are you saying that? Because by the time people see this episode, they will see the episode you're saying you did not produce.
That is a big unknown. Because I've been covered like this week. Okay, this week.
Mm-hmm.
I have a core team of let's say 4 people who are like day to day running the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And out of the 4 people in this core team,
okay,
3 are on vacation, and I'm not.
Why don't you go?
Oh, I will. I'm gonna go and take like the entire September. Like I'm just gonna disappear. Well, that's the idea. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna happen, but that's what I want.
It'll be fun, when you ditch your entire team. By the way, I have seen some terrific tweets in Serbia regarding vacations. One of my favorites was like, "Hey, dear colleague, I know that you're at vacation, but you know that I'm at vacation what? But every word is separated with a dagger." Also, a great tweet which I saw, which very much encapsulates one of the people I went to vacation with was jack of all trades, salary of one. I firmly believe that no one is irreplaceable in the long run, But in the short run, oh my. And
Yeah.
God forbid you're one of those people who really, like to work, because then everybody will give you their work to work, and then you're in some hot water.
True. You know what people told me, in the team, they were like, you're, going behind everybody and picking up their slack and filling up the holes, and as they would say in the United States, crossing the T's and dotting the I's or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, all you're achieving is getting us used to having somebody to, fix our mistakes. So we're very comfortable in making them. And I'm like, that's not fair. That's so not fair. So not fair.
Yeah, that's an issue. Yeah.
But it's also very true. It's also very true. And so this sub is going to be a vacation episode. And just to be clear, when I pinged a colleague, I know you're on vacation, but I need something real quick. And he was like, no, I'm not. I don't exist. And I left him alone.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind. I don't mind like picking up colleagues, but it's usually something that's very short. They don't actually need to do anything. They just need to answer a question, like as one sentence, and that's about it.
Yeah. But just that. Answering a question, it's just a question. Not a question that you need the research on it or anything like that.
Not in my case. Not in my case.
Hi, what's your favorite color? You know it's pink. Then the next day, hey, what's your favorite food? Souvlaki.
By the way, do you hate when you have to contact somebody for a favor that you haven't contacted in a long time?
Dude, there's nothing I despise more. And recently, I'll tell you a story. But recently,
wait, I can't finish.
I was burned.
So I didn't finish. So you have this inclination to contact this person like 2 or 3 days in advance. Hi, how are you doing? And like 3 days later, hey, can you help me with something?
No, because I'm not a manipulative bastard.
I'm just asking questions.
You manipulative bastard.
I am. I'm sorry. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to deal with that guilt.
As usual, you're a terrible person.
I know.
Like, stop it. Look, if you want, like I'm very clear. Like, hey, I know we haven't been, speaking.
Actually,
I hate how loud that keyboard is, and I also kind of hate that you're participating in this conversation with like 10% your attention. It's offending. It's not cool.
It's offensive, not offending. Ding. And I'm writing notes for the episode.
Well, then write it with a pencil. Like the thickest paper and possible, crayon. Like.
Go on. So you contact them and you're like, hey, I know
I know, like we haven't spoken for a while and all that, and I gotta be honest, like I need a favor, and that's how I would start things. Like,
okay, thank you. I will use it from now on.
Full on transparency, and to be honest, let me tell you one thing, right? I've been burned a lot for being honest and transparent and playing with open cards.
Well, that is why people become manipulative, like I did.
Yeah, exactly. But good luck manipulating me.
Oh no!
Is that a challenge?
Oh no! I know that you're at least immune to my manipulation.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you're saying that because you're manipulating me, so that I
no.
So apply your skill and harness your powers. But anyways, I had to ask for a favor.
Fraction of my power.
It burned me a lot.
Okay.
And I don't usually, to be very honest with you, I don't usually ask for favors. I just not because I'm proud and that's below me, because when I get disappointed in somebody not delivering or not, like addressing my needs and something like that in a way that I believe they should have been addressed. Like that disappointment burns me very, very hard. It's very, very hard because just because when somebody asks me a favor, I like,
Yeah.
I find a way. Like I really do things as if it was me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or when I can't do it, I just say, sorry, I can't, or I don't have the time. Like I try not to drag people around and snooze them and things like that. And this approach, honestly, is something that I've been working very hard to build within my company, for example, as well. And this core team of mine, like the leadership team, if you want,
This core team.
This is how we operate, and it's very refreshing, because in a professional environment, when you have that kind of a relationship, you don't really waste too much time on having to sugarcoat things, or I don't know, be politically correct. It's just not losing time on irrelevant things, mundane stuff. I find that to be the best approach, and I always apply it, even though it doesn't work with everybody. Like some people really need like a lighter approach in sugarcoating things and being like, give them a say something nice, the principle that experienced HR will tell you, when you have to address like something bad with an employee, right? You always have to start with a good thing. I was super impressed at how you handled X.
You're also fired.
Exactly. Like always sugarcoat the bad news with, goodness. And I've been, people dealt with me like this, and it was just humiliating, right? Like
you're getting fired, but horizons are opening up for you.
Yeah. I was fired once, right? I was fired once, and it wasn't pleasant. Like, it was quite the contrary. It was very unpleasant. And the comment was, if you would just handle this one thing, like the sky's the limit for you.
But we're going also to fire you for this one thing.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, did they mention that one thing before they fired you?
Well, no, not directly. No.
I mean,
no. I'll tell you this, right? I remember that, like, somebody from the company told me, because it was a bit of a bigger company, when they sent that email, right? We're parting ways with that guy. There was like people were like, oh, like nobody expected it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, did I haven't expected it? Like, nobody expected it, right? And I remember like being like, that's right. It is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. Getting fired makes, humbles you a little bit. Just a little bit.
A lot.
No, just a little bit.
So where are you going for your vacation?
I don't know. We wanted to go to Portugal to meet my partner and his family. But I don't think that's going to happen because, well, in the last episode, which I've yet to produce and publish, but it will be published before we publish this one, we kind of disclosed that I'm not vaccinated. So I might not be able to actually go to Portugal, because they will be like, we won't let you in without proof of vaccination. And to me, that's still not a good reason to get vaccinated. So if that doesn't work, I'm probably going to go to Montenegro for two reasons. One, it's the closest. Actually, three reasons. One, it's the closest. Two, I don't care where I'm going. And three, it's probably going to be very easy to go in even without being vaccinated.
Yeah.
So
Greece too.
No, I'm not.
But it's not.
I'm not going to Greece. You know why I'm not going to Greece? Ask me why I'm not going to Greece.
Why you're not going to Greece?
Everybody's going to Greece. And it doesn't make sense if it's the pandemic. And it's also extremely expensive, as I've heard.
A friend of mine has went to Greece. She had horrible accommodations, like I did, and I'm going to rant about it very soon. The accommodations were so poor that she wanted to change for something else. I need to check real quick what they were going to charge them. I really apologize. This will only take like a second of
Yeah, but
scrolling.
cost and affordability, if that's a word, is
Okay,
relevant.
okay,
Right? Subjective.
okay. So I do not know how much they charge they paid for their horrible accommodations. So they offered to change them for a different hotel. That's 1,600 euros, which is extremely steep. But they were even willing to go for that, because, okay, fine,
So for
even
what? For like 10 days?
7 days, 2 people and 1 kid. So for 10
But
days,
is it like all inclusive? Sorry, you have to be
I do not know that part. So I
because
do not
it's
know.
not like it's not huge cost if it's all inclusive,
And I do not know if it's all inclusive. Serbs generally, when they go to Greece, they generally don't take all inclusives. However, she might have. I mean,
Yeah,
she
because
might.
with the kid,
Yeah.
people tend to.
However, by the way, she told me that is how much a luxury hotel in Dubai cost. So just to have some vantage point. And then that suddenly wasn't an option, and they offered to they offered them a different hotel or room or something. I think it's not even a room, so not an apartment, for 3,500 euros. And I think, that I made the same face. I think that Greece is doing the very same thing Serbia did last year when we were imprisoned within country, where there was like uh, you could like hire a house for a weekend for 500 euros, which is ridiculously expensive. It's supply and demand in play directly. And when she told me like 3,500, and I was like, and how many slaves come with that room? Which floor of the hanging gardens is it? I mean, come on.
Look. Let me tell you this: they're making the same mistake as our local people were making.
Overlords.
Like they'll get somebody today, but these guys are not going back. And the people who were like, asking for prices and they got this price, they will never ask again. Like you've lost revenue in the long run for sure, like for sure. But it's this capitalist mentality that you can't do a thing about.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I say? But at least you went to a vacation. Oh, sorry, man. It's like, what is it? It's almost 11 p.m.
Yeah.
I've had like a very exhausting week.
Very exclusive week.
You know why I'm exhausted? Because one of the guys that I was covering for is our head of support,
Okay.
customer support, and dealing with customer support is like for somebody like me, like an engineer, or, in spirit, it's just crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's just crazy. I can't speak that language.
Yeah. You have issues with nice.
No, you know what somebody told me? Like I've actually had this comment multiple times. You write too complicated English, and I'm like, what? Well, when doing support, especially with people who are non-native English speakers, blah blah blah, you have to use caveman speech. Like, what? Go here, do that. It works. The first time I applied it, worked like a charm.
Yeah.
You know what's the worst in customer support?
You.
No, the second place.
Okay.
People using Google Translate. You'd be amazed. Yeah, I've asked him a million times, like the support guys in my company, please create a Hall of Fame in our document, please, and they never did it. But dude,
I did that while I was with you. Like I illustrated a couple of very fun instances.
True.
Like, no, two of my favorites, which I did illustrate, were okay. Okay, sir, we'll send you an email in 2 hours instantly. Did you send the email? And my favorite, which I like draw in like calligraphy with hearts around it. Don't talk, help me.
I remember that. Oh, yeah.
Don't talk, help me.
Look, to be honest with you, I could build a Hall of Fame out of things people wrote to us, and I could also build a Hall of Fame out of the things we've wrote to people, right?
And that I said and did.
Oh, you'd have like a special place in the Hall of Fame.
I can have it again.
We literally have churn in terms of employees.
Yeah.
Only in the support team. Like,
yeah.
nobody ever quits in my company. Like for the past 5 years we existed, nobody ever quit.
Yeah.
Except support.
Oh well, it will stabilize. I mean, for some time you did have some stable employees, so.
Well, you quit, but it's good because we would fire you. We would have to fire you. So.
And it would be awkward. So.
It will be awkward. Like with friends. You did X so good.
I was about to parody that.
And we all respect you, and
like a thought bubble. Oh boy, like a thought bubble. Oh boy, a raise.
No, it's like and love you, and we see how much you care.
Huge raise.
But we just have to let you go.
Raise. You need to make some other company very happy.
It's not a raise. It's kind of the opposite of raise.
It's this stimulation of making us so much happy.
Yeah, basically we're firing.
And they're like, why? There's nothing worse than a totally oblivious employee, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, that was me. I was like, that's ridiculous, but okay.
Hey, you invited me. It's your fault.
Anyways, how was Greece for you, man? What island did you go to?
I would say a couple of things, but they are having so much fires, so I'm going to refrain. Island. Well, if I did go to an island, I would assume that the experience would have been much better. So
you're in continental Greece.
Yes.
Okay. Mistake number 1.
Yeah, Halkidiki.
Mistake number 2, 100% tourist trap.
Yeah, I want to say the middle finger, but in English and in Serbian and probably in every language it sounds way worse than what I meant. But they're like these 3 peninsulas parallel to each other that look like fingers. One is Mount Athos, the other is a tourist trap, and the other is also a tourist trap. So I went to the middle finger. I went with 3 of my...
Oh boy, was it awesome.
Okay. If I could load game on my life, I would go again. It was more good than bad, but if you have to talk about your vacation that it was more good than bad, then
yeah, it's like when when I'm reading like an advertisement for an apartment, and they start with functional apartment.
It's tiny.
It works. Somehow it works. And you can immediately tell that the room arrangement is like not okay.
There was this great dictionary that I wasn't able to locate, like what things mean in apartment ads. and like there was like the locations, and every location is actually one location removed from the city center. Then it's like cozy, small, comfy, subterranean, artsy, high moisture.
With filters like has
Vestibule. Oh, by the way, I just remembered a friend of mine was once trying to find an apartment, and he was like, "Guy, you would not believe what my girlfriend and I have seen." Okay, first the town the apartment was a subterranean one, so you only had one small slit of a window. It was very damp.
Very bad.
Okay, but that's like all standard. But we entered the living room, which is like sort of in a lower position than the other rooms, that had like niches in the walls. I don't remember if it had some statues or not in them, but statues sort of feel. But then he said there was a marble table, like a square marble table in the middle of the room that was the integral part of the room. I said, God, man, that was some creepy Hades stuff. You enter some like remnant of some mystery Greek cult or something, right? Scram.
Like the sacrificial desk.
Yeah. Like flee that altar. So as regards to, so I went with those three friends of mine, and
Can I comment?
Hmm?
Sorry.
No, okay.
Sorry. Very late. You know when you sent me that photo of you in the car going, traveling?
Oh, the enthusiasm.
Wow, you guys looked
so happy.
Yeah, like oh boy, this is gonna be a great trip. And I was absolutely stunned when you told me how old they were, because they did not look. They look so younger, so much younger than they seem to be. Or you lied for their age. You told me they're like our age, right?
Well, two of them were 5 years older than us. I mean, two of us were our age, you and mine, and the other two are like 5 years older.
And I could have sworn they were in their 20s.
Yeah.
Swore.
Actually, I'm trying to remember. There might be a chance that they have applied the beauty filter, which I hate. I tend to recognize beauty filters instantly, and they hate it so much. No, not me. They made themselves younger, me included, because they probably took photo with their phone.
But you didn't.
I never applied.
You didn't look younger.
Okay, then in that case, okay. Then it was it was a standard photo. Thank God. And when you get there, you find out all of the issues that other people have that makes living with them difficult. And none of it was major. For example, I find out that I snore like hell. And they did try to wake me up a couple of times. The other thing that I found out the hard way was that that pair that was with us, they set the alarm for 7:30 or 8, and the other two of us were like, "You're on vacation. Let's not." And we did that in order to get to beaches early, because they can get crowded. And while we only had one experience of there not being enough place on a beach, recently I saw a footage of Serbs running like locusts to grab all of the sunbeds and whatever have you, and the parasols and everything. So that wasn't really unwarranted. By the way, we had a Viber group to arrange the summer vacation. Oh boy, that amount of enthusiasm so annoyed me later on, because guys, I'm going to download movies and we're going to we haven't seen a single movie, like a single one. So we went to Sarti, which is a small place on Cetonia. Man, that hotel. I'm not going to share its name. I'll call it Sarti Hell. And you know, when you get to it, it looks pretty nice. You know, this isn't all that shabby. It is. And we enter our room, which was on ground floor, which will be very important later on. And now we knew that all four of us would be in a single room. That's fine. We knew about that part. What we didn't know was that that apartment. Actually, I might be actually using false friends.
False friends.
Yeah, those are words that sound identical in two different languages but mean different things. When I say it is an apartment, I don't mean it has like multiple rooms adjacent. It's actually a suite, you know. So there's one room with a bedroom. That's it. So not a kitchen isn't like separate or whatever. So that suite was actually for like two people tops, with maybe one small kid that hastily got converted into four grown people apartment, with one of the beds being considerably smaller than the other two, which meant that at all times we had to, you know, jump over our luggage, and I had to put all of my things next to my side of the bed. Okay, but that by itself, okay, we only had one single closet, and we let the girls have it. However, things started piling on. First of all, on the very second day, our sink clogged. We let the hotel owners know about it. By the way, when I say hotel, it really makes you have some assumptions that are untrue. For example, you would assume that it got cleaned regularly. No. Our sheets and towels got replaced only once on day 4, and that was it. Yeah. Okay, so we let them know about the clogged sink. The next day, a plumber came. He started doing something with the sink. Then he left without saying goodbye, and we were like, okay, he probably went to fetch some tools. He was never seen again. By the way,
did you report that to the?
We were really, really annoyed at this point, so we did not let them. Let me just. This is one of those things that maybe it's like too much info, but I started brushing my teeth simultaneously while showering because that drain worked.
As long as that you stopped there in terms of multitasking in the bathroom, you're good.
Yeah. So that was one thing. Now.
I've never brushed my teeth while showering.
Neither do I. Like neither. I never shower without. Sorry.
I'll just cut the. I'll never shower.
No. I never shower without washing my teeth first, because brushing my teeth first.
What did you say? Did you say I never shower?
No. I never shower without brushing my teeth first, because I know it feels weird. Like I'm clean on the outside, but I'm filthy on the inside. It just doesn't work for me. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so gonna edit this. Sorry.
Feel free.
Oh, I'm having a field day tomorrow.
Yeah. So we were on the ground floor, which came with pros and cons. The split second we came there, Sonia, one of the friends I went with, she's my German teacher, met a student of hers, and she said, guys, this place is literal hell. Our room is so damp. We had such an argument with the owner. We paid for a seaside view. The hotel does not have seaside view. It has seaside side view. So you have to do this to actually, and they did not want to refund them. So just giving you some, oh man, I did let them have it in the Google reviews. Oh boy, did I let them have it. So
Did you give them 1 star?
of course, I give them 2 stars because the closest beach was actually really nice, and it wasn't actually owned by the hotel, but
Nor is it a feature of the hotel.
yeah, it sort of is. Like location of the hotel is actually very important. So, and I'm actually glad that I did not have to hear the blaring of music through the entire night, for example.
Yeah,
So,
but talk to me about the sand.
oh no, I'm getting to sand. Wait, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So we had the first story, the ground floor room. Now, the pro of that is that we had a very large balcony, which basically meant that we had an extra room that was denied to like a majority of people staying in Sartihel. The bad part of it was that we had to close the door to the outside world every time we went to sleep, because other co-voyagers were worried that somebody might barge in while we slept and steal our things or whatever. For the first 5 days, that was fine because, you know, it wasn't hot as hell. But the last 5 days, I've never felt so hot in my life upon waking. Like never. I was totally drenched. I always wear my cross even when I'm showering, when I'm swimming, and Sonia, remove that cross, it's going to strangle you eventually. Like, and one day, okay, so I had to show what happened. It got twisted in a loop, and this part, sorry, I had to, okay. And this part, like this, got tangled in a pillow that was so drenched with sweat, it got like stiff, and I like sort of like, so that part of prophecy came true. Also, there were mosquitoes. We had a mosquito net.
Ooh.
They weren't the worst. Right across the street to our apartment, and we are on the ground floor, we had a dumpster. I can't even begin to tell you just how flies can be annoying. I would exchange one fly for 10 mosquitoes, because mosquitoes like, and then you can swat it and you can kill it. Flies, all of the time. They never miss on landing on your skin. Never. Not at 1 second.
You weren't given a flamethrower to deal with the pests?
Sonia had a great idea. She took a towel and basically made a whip out of it, which was the only way we could kill flies, because you can swat a mosquito. Fly, if you can swat a fly, kudos to you.
You really had it. Like,
yeah.
And you say it was mostly good?
Because we mostly weren't in the room.
You know what they say, especially if you had a dumpster nearby. You know, you know, the thing I mind about flies is where they were before.
Of
they
course.
landed on my hand or face. And flies like to be...
Okay, yeah. We get it. So, now, here in Serbia, we have this sitcom that's really popular called... I have to check actually what show is it.
I have no idea. What's a sitcom in Serbia?
Just one moment.
Does it exist?
Okay, so we have this popular sitcom called Srećni ljudi, meaning happy people.
Oh, we had this.
We had, but it's sort of have because it's constantly being shown during reruns. And one part of that sitcom is a number of these characters that live in the Ranch of the Damned, which is like this closed courtyard, which has their apartments all around that courtyard in a very similar arrangement to actually Sarti Hell.
OMG.
And now the humor from that segment of the show comes that everybody's overexposed to each other's life, because you can peek through windows, you hear everybody talking all the time. Whenever somebody's discussing something in the courtyard, the whole
So
neighborhood
basically,
hears.
everybody hates each other because of that.
Yeah, and at first we started calling it Sarti Hell, but very soon we started to call it Sarti, like the Ranch of the Damned, because you're so overexposed to all of the other neighbors, generally for the bad, because like we had a family staying close. Now, I might be wrong, but I think that kids should be in bed past midnight. I do not know what kind of stimulants these parents are giving to their overactive kid, but go to bed already, you little dust devil, you know.
Well, they were on vacation.
I know, I'm trying to be patient, but you know that I love animals. And at one point I'm like,
no, the love animals, but children on the other.
No. It's like, I'm going to strangle that cat and her kitten, because during the entire night,
Oh,
like locate each other already.
that's mating season or something.
No. It's kitten looking for its mother, and mother not doing anything.
Well, you should have bought them AirTags and iPhones.
Red poison. So yeah, sleeping was difficult. And last but not least, the sand got everywhere. I've never seen such sand anywhere else. Like the closest beach, which in the end was the best because it had the best cafe with the cheapest prices, the warmest water and everything. The sand was like flour. And it had this golden glow. It is as if you sprinkled like gold dust on it. It was beautiful. But the bad part of it is, if it stuck to you, it was there for a very long time. So you had it on your hand, and if you rubbed it off, it does not come off. It's embedded there forever. At one point, I felt a speck of sand like fall on my eyeball and going on somewhere in the back, and I'm like, okay, it's lodged there in there forever.
It's never going out.
No, it's never going out. Like in I don't know, 50 or so years, or maybe next year, if I'm dead, like at the bottom of my skull, there will be that one little speck of Sarti sand.
I watched the episode of was it like, I think the show is called Good Doctor or something like that.
I quote it often.
The autistic doctor guy.
Yeah.
And I remember like somebody came to the ER. They were like, I have a problem with my eyes, like red, and they were like, oh, okay, let me see. Oh, there's a dead fly or something, or cornet, I don't know. And they pull it off. Oh, it laid eggs too. You're gonna have 4 little ones. I'm like, wow.
Okay, I know that things like that happen like 1 in a billion, but they seem especially attracted to these shows. Like 1 in a billion cases happen every day. So.
Oh, of course. It's like always the most modern surgery. They're reconstructing people's hearts, and stuff like that on a daily basis.
As it happens, as it's known to happen. So now for the positive parts, the beaches were beautiful. Even though we always ended up returning to the city beach because it was the best. By the way, when we came, a Serb actually drowned. I think that he swam when it was forbidden to do so because of the currents. I do not know actually how you can drown there, because it is one of those sandy beaches where you're like going for a mile and the water is still not reaching your knees. However, I do not know how those currents work.
Oh man, I hate listening to these stories.
Then you won't.
Like, imagine you go to a vacation and...
I know. Okay, dumping that.
Thank
When
you.
we came, we had like,
God rest his soul.
yeah, amen. We had a meeting with the people from our tourist group, and the guide said, by the way, all of you are insured if you have any medical emergency. If you have any kind of medical emergency, we have a doctor here in Sardi. But do not be alarmed, he's a black man from Senegal. And I like, he's saying that,
Guess
and I'm
what
like,
he said?
that's what he said. And like, I'm like laughing.
What?
And I noticed that my my friends are also like shocked but also laughing, like. And then we discussed this, and it is our assumption that there probably was some kind of issue in the previous groups that he had to emphasize it like that, even though it was worded very poorly. But maybe some racist bastard had some off comment or something. So then he took us through a little tour.
The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But
No. Like we were quoting it every other day. No, not like multiple times per day. And while we were passing his office, the guy said, "Here's a doctor. You can see him through the window." And like somebody said, "Hey, did you see the doctor?" Like, no, I'm not going to gawk at him. We are not in a zoo. I mean, no, I mean, what the hell, man? I mean,
people really have an issue, man. Like
no, because like you don't expect it, and then it rears its ugly head, and then you sort of realize that it is an issue that we won't be able to solve ever.
no, but in reality, I encountered racism in Serbia only once, and it was like super like low key, but only once, right?
Was it in person or?
Yeah, in person. I mean, I was present, and a friend of mine was being the target.
Racist.
I've never visited that place ever again. It was by a restaurant owner. But it's I wasn't even sure if it was the comment was like fueled by racism, but I kind of assumed. So
Yeah.
I've maybe encountered racism once, but I'm looking at like especially nowadays there's a lot of tourists in Belgrade for example, and there's a lot of people of color, and like there's never even a reaction to that. So it's genuinely strange for me.
I know, but the thing is, I would like to assume that they do not have any issues, but to be quite honest, I never actually talked to a person of color who was here if they had any issues. So
yeah, no, like my friend, they have the same issues as people of color have the same issues as everybody else who's a tourist in Belgrade. They get ripped off by taxi drivers.
oh yeah, but that's not racism. That's just a typical taxi driver doing what he knows best whenever he detects a foreigner. And sadly, people of color have it color coded that they're not from here, and that is why you get such
100%.
thefts, such thefts.
100%. But again, like every single tourist, even people who are Serbian but don't live in Serbia, come here and complain to me that they've been ripped off, and I'm like, and I had such a wonderful conversation with the taxi driver, but then when he showed me the bill,
my favorite part is like a friend of mine who's from Norway. He was visiting. I warned him not to get a taxi cab, that he should get a voucher. He still took and it was 50 euros. I told you.
The same here. My friends, they charged him $46 from
Ouchie.
from my place to Ušće Mall.
Yeah.
It's like like if you grab a taxi and you're like me, for example, you'd pay like $6. But then 46, 43 or something, 46, I don't remember.
There's this great book called The Third Sector, Woman in Transition, which is very funny to read. And at one point, it's about this woman working in an NGO. And at one point, her people who are financing the NGO are dropping by in Serbia, and they need to drive from one part of the city to hers. And they're like, "Oh, what beautiful cemeteries do you have?" And she's like wondering in brackets, "Where did that man drive them?" Like there's no cemeteries from point A to point B, like nowhere.
Oh god. Well, women in transition nowadays, I don't think it would the title
Yeah.
would match the content that you just
Yeah. So like we were like transitioning from socialism to capitalism, not from not being a woman, not being a woman. So anyway,
what it is.
back to Sarti. I know. For the by the way, yeah. The good stuff. We were right across Mount Athos, and we had it in full view. And it was simply,
That's quite a positive.
yeah, like I mean, you're like there on the beach, and you're like, there are some major saints who are alive praying for you right now, and it was simply mind-boggling. We had.
All saints are alive.
I know what I know. When I said that, I knew that you're going to correct me, but you know what I mean. We took a boat right close to Mount Athos. We checked out a couple of monasteries, and then we went to this like souvenir shop, which is like supporting Mount Athos monasteries. The tour guide was kind enough to show me the icons that were produced by Hilander Monastery, so we could support it, but I couldn't. Those crimes
The price
against
tag.
no. The price tag isn't a problem. It's done for the support of the monastery. But crimes against beauty, I cannot support. Those icons were so tacky, so poor quality, so low everything. Like there was like incense, I would get it.
Okay,
But
the Church Mouse Chronicles is writing a letter
yeah, like I mean,
to Hilander Monastery.
like I mean,
Guys, I know you're monks and all that, but this is ridiculous.
no, but seriously, I did not expect them all to be painted. There wasn't a single painted one of them by the monastery, but okay, but you can still make beautifully laminated icons. This wasn't it. Otherwise,
Publicly, thank you for bringing me an icon from Greece.
I'm getting to that part.
It's a beautiful icon. Did you get it there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No. I got it in the Church of St. Demetrius, not in the souvenir shop.
Oh, that's more legit. I approve.
Yeah.
The shop is like a proxy. It's like you're buying in retail, and this is like
yeah. This is the real thing.
the real thing, the OG.
I did went to the liturgy. In Sarti. It was okay.
You couldn't resist sitting down.
Hey, when in Rome, do as Romans do. I was like, I don't care. This is like the sole liturgy that I will sit through in this year.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, when I was in in two instances, I was in a church which had seating.
Mm-hmm.
One was in Göteborg, Sweden, and another one is Los Angeles, the Church of Saint Sava, I believe. Mm-hmm. And in Sweden, I think almost everybody was sitting down during the liturgy.
Like during the whole liturgy?
Yeah, except me.
Okay.
And I was completely not pleasantly surprised at the children literally running around during liturgy and being loud. And in Los Angeles, a majority of people were standing up. Just the elderly were, I think, front row,
Yeah.
sitting down. But I really actually loved that church.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. The last time I was there, the bishop was there, and
I'm sorry.
he's a little controversial. So I remember, well, from my perspective, I don't know him that well, but
Yeah.
some of the things that I've encountered, I wasn't really privy on, spending too much time with it. And I remember these guys telling me, like, after the liturgy was over, well, Vladika is here, so we're gonna like have we're gonna dine with him, and I'm like, yeah, I'm bye. I just left. I'm terrible. Like I'm so terrible. But yeah, that's what I did. Sorry.
You just can't resist yourself.
No, I just I don't know. I didn't. I don't.
Yeah, we all have our bishops that we like and we don't like, and
No,
then
but it's not disliking somebody. There's this guy. Is it El Fodoros, El Fiodoros, El Fodoros? Blah.
Yeah.
The bishop that blocks everybody on Twitter, and constantly puts out these ridiculous New Age tweets, constantly. Like
I wouldn't know. I'm blocked.
Cool. I think nowadays people wear it as a badge of honor or something.
I mean, it's clearly that his account has been run by somebody else. I mean,
no, probably.
There's no way that he can spend that much time blocking on Twitter.
No, but the things he says,
Yeah, no. That's a different issue.
It's not about me not liking him. It's about me thinking that the things he says are completely ridiculous, and therefore I respect the title, and I believe there's a reason why he's there and doing what he's doing, but I can't say I respect his deeds. And it was written that by their deeds you will know them. So I'm not judging, but I am help me translate this. Hoću da kažem razliku između suditi i rasuđivati.
Difference between judging and discerning.
Yeah, in Serbian language, it's pretty much a very similar word. It's the same root. So yeah, it's not about judging people. It's about discerning. So okay, let's simplify. I don't like Bishop Elfdoros.
It's interesting to me because I never actually encountered that name until I heard of him. Like, it seems pretty unique.
I'll tell you this: for the longest time, I thought it was a parody account. I mean, God forgive me, but I was absolutely.
Sorry.
I know, but I was absolutely sure it was a parody account. Like somebody's making fun of Orthodoxy or something. But then, like,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Anywho. By the way, my experience from that church, like, until you come, it's the Church of the Dormition of the Most Holy Theotokos. So, while you're there, you might forget that Corona is a thing. Like, you only put mask if you like enter a supermarket or something. And then you enter a church and it's like Norwegian hospital, because like they stick to the rules like a lot. Yeah. Like so, like Greek churches, I mean, it's pews, but
hold on. Okay. Percentage of people wearing masks in churches in Serbia, less than 1%.
Yeah.
Percentage of people wearing masks in that church?
98%, 2% were priests.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I entered the church and they have these pews, and these pews have handrests, and there are these ribbons tied on some places, and I initially thought, okay, this is probably for donors or something. And then I realized that those ribbons follow some sort of checkered pattern. So you basically sit on every other free space. So you're basically, they're forcing you to have some distance away from people, from other people. You have to wear a mask throughout the service. If you come instantly, the ushers came and give you a mask. And that's about it. By the
They
way,
have ushers.
well, men giving out masks. So
You know, I've been hearing that some priests or even bishops are being like prosecuted in Greece because of their
refusal.
refusal to abide
Yeah.
with the rules, and the rules at that point, which they refused to abide by, were they were banned from serving the liturgy. And I gotta say, I'm not too happy with Greece handling this.
Me neither.
Because it's stomping on the basic human rights. A couple of them actually, free movement, freedom to practice religion, etc., etc.
I mean, okay, from a legal point of view, like some rights do get revoked in emergency situations, but but then it's a different discussion of how much of an emergency this is. And I do not.
Look, at least allow priests to go to church and serve liturgy, even with like just the readers or
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, what you can't, and especially in Serbia, you see all this extreme, and I say extreme hypocrisy, because they organized a bunch of concerts, like Exit.
Oh yeah.
Exit Fest, it's like 1 million people that came, and suddenly, after all that, was done, they were like, well, now we're gonna, ban weddings, and I don't know. It's so there's so much hypocrisy, right?
Oh yeah. It's like,
And
I think it's what annoys people, too much, because that why they can have it while we can't is real. Now, a lot of it was mocked, for example, for Walmart, why they can stay open and our church concert game can't. Now, I am for like letting supermarkets being open. However, when you start letting some other things get to work, you do have a major hypocrisy issue. I mean,
if let's say, like, supermarkets need to be open because people need to eat, right?
Yeah.
But if you apply the same criteria to restaurants,
no, nobody needs to eat in a restaurant.
yeah, right, and fast food joints and whatnot, and then you're like, well, people have to go to psychiatrists, right? Because people need their psychological well-being.
Yeah.
Well, why not church then? Right, that's the point.
Yeah.
Look, it's a slippery slope. It's hard to draw lines, but at least one thing you can do is not be a hypocrite, right?
Yeah.
Not apply, it's just not okay.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's how it is, and I'm not really happy with what's happening in Greece. But it's their fault, as the old calendars would say, and zealots. It's their fault for switching to the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah, they sort of deserved it.
Yeah.
Okay, so but the most interesting part came like for communion. So the priest comes out with the chalice, and like with fear and love draw near, and they're like, oh boy. And then he instantly goes to the altar, and they start singing, like we have seen the true light, we have received. And I'm like, okay, I haven't seen a liturgy like this in Serbia in like 10 years at least.
Yeah, so they're gonna do the communion after they wrap up the liturgy.
Yeah, I mean, that I have never seen in the liturgy. If the priest goes in the altar, it's finished. You're not getting communion. However,
Well, I witnessed a couple of liturgies like that in Serbia.
I haven't. So, but
Okay.
immediately, because it's Greece, they're having a memorial service during the liturgy, which is fine. And then they're having communion on the side, and I'm like,
During.
yeah. And they're like, shouldn't like the memorial service be at the side and communion in the center? Like, what's happening here? And now I might be out there, and I know I'm the Bible illustrated guy, but I'm a heretic, but I think that communion is sort of important. Like, it's definitely one of the top 10 things I would recommend to my audience. I mean, what's up with like removing communion? Whatever.
That's. But you know, don't risk being called a heretic and being asked the question why weren't you anathematized?
Man, like, who cares? So anyway, that was done, and for the final day of our trip, we went to Thessaloniki, which was very beautiful, and the hotel there was, oh man, it was
Like one night.
Yeah, it was one night, but while we were there, I was like, we should have booked this hotel for like 10 days and then went. And even if we had to drive a long way to the beach, I don't
It
care.
would have been worth it. It would have been worth it.
Definitely.
That's what I need to tell you about, you know, when you said, why give them 2 stars, you know, location is important. Yeah, sure, location is important, but also clean sheets is important. Having a working sink is important. Having a reasonable host is important.
Yeah. By the way, the guy who waited for us, the guy who, I don't know if he's an owner, I think he is, but in Serbia,
Dušo čovjek.
yeah, in Serbian, when we say one of the ways to say that you flattered somebody is that they sensed you, like with a sensor. Man, that was the sole thing the guy didn't do.
Who says that?
Like, nemoj tu da mi kadiš, like.
Who says that?
Ja, kaže se. Let me check.
Nemoj da mi kadiš.
Da, kaditi, kao laskati.
Svašta.
Yeah. Anywho, that hotel was perfect. And I went to Church of St. Demetrius. If any of you have been to St. Mark's in Venice, then you have an idea of what you can expect there. It was simply amazing. It was epic. The best way I can describe that church is epic, and photos and footage does not do it justice. You can clearly see that people of Thessalonica love this church. I mean, it's rather old, but you can see like new icons of St. Demetrius being installed, and I had a prayer list of people who requested prayers, and at first I did not notice the tomb of St. Demetrius. For some reason I assumed it would be on the right side of the church. It was actually on the left, and it is like this six-sided shrine, and the relics are in there. While I was praying, I think I started to cry for like 6 times, and I'm generally not easily moved to tears. So, man, it was simply incredible, and I think that people of Thessaloniki are very, very actually lucky to have St. Demetrius as their protector. I know that Saint Nicholas Kavasilas, who was, I think he was a priest. He wrote, I think, 2 important books on the Holy Mysteries. He actually got in trouble with church authorities because he claimed that Saint Demetrius is even greater than Saint John the Baptist, which is like a very cute thing to fall in trouble for. Like, I mean, he was wrong, but you know, it's sort of charming. Like he overdid something.
but you can't measure sainthood. You can only measure like affection.
Yeah, true.
Towards saints, you know, like the way I simply adore Saint Seraphim of Saron. Like, I can't say he's a bigger saint than, I don't know, Saint Demetrius, for example. You know,
Yeah.
how could I even?
Yeah, I don't know. I think if there is such a thing, the Lord knows, and only the Lord knows, but I don't know. It is something that's so difficult to actually measure.
Let's pray that I get a little bit of vacation this year, because I haven't had one.
In 2 months.
No, I really, really haven't had one for a long time. A long time.
I hope and pray that you have at least a tad better vacation than I had, which will be enough for you
Not
to
hard.
have an okay. Yeah.
Not too hard. Doesn't seem too hard. But you know, God willing, you know, in September I'm gonna just get out with the family and just spend some time away from work and this place. Did you know I had a fire in my neighborhood?
Yes, the entire block burned down, which was this like
Chinese mall.
Chinese, yeah, basically Serbian equivalent of Chinatown, and the whole thing simply went up in a blaze.
You know, I around midnight I actually went there.
Yeah.
To look at the thing. Man, I have some footage. Maybe I'll put it. You know, it was like everything was burning. The roof was starting to collapse, and the firemen didn't really like try to put down the fire. They were just trying to localize it, right? Cut it from various sides. But you know, since the flames were like, I dare say, anywhere from 5 to 15 meters up. You know, that's how the flames were. I remember a friend of mine, she sent me the photo from her like window, and it was like she's like third floor, and it's like she was looking at apocalypse, basically, like she was in a furnace. I mean, crazy. And you can imagine the heat and the smoke. And I remember writing to my friend who's a fireman.
Mm-hmm.
You've met him. You guys have mutual friends as well.
Yeah.
And he told me, I told him, like, are they going to put it out? He's like, no, dude, it's going to burn down, and there's nothing you can do. And he also said, happy new residential building that these bastards are going to put there.
Yeah.
We actually suspect that this might have been a planted fire.
I mean, it can be easily both ways, but from experience here in Serbia, we had this sort of like market mall called the Depot, and it burned down. And of course, 2 years later, the rubble wasn't cleared, but it was bought by investors. So we can only assume that, but hopefully it won't happen.
Yeah, in order for the biggest project in Serbia, residential-wise, Belgrade on water, or as they call it, the Belgrade waterfront.
Yeah. Which is
like one of the biggest scams I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
By literally the state. They sent a demolition crew in masks to like demolish stuff so that they can move it.
Yeah. Why? And nobody ever got.
No. People would call the police, and police was like, "Yeah, cool," hangs up.
I actually know people who were threatened for calling the police. But yeah, speaking of fires, while we were there in Savti, we had like TV, and I have to say, Greek television is the best television. I'm saying this with zero snide. because apologize. Because what you have on Greek television, you have liturgy 1 on the other channel, you have liturgy 2 every day, like every day. Then you have some good TV show or movie that's not synchronized, so it has subtitles, so you can actually watch it. And finally, you have constant news, catastrophos, and constant fire and blazes.
I'm gonna have to go because I'm still covering for customer support.
Yeah, of course.
And I have a situation that I need to handle, even though it's almost midnight.
Okay.
I also wish that your next vacation is gonna be much better.
Thank you.
And talk to you in the next one.
Okay. Bye.
Ciao.